Hey everyone, welcome into the Ben Maynard program. Thanks for being here. Before we get started, let's take care of some housekeeping. As a reminder, this program is available on multiple podcast outlets like Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify. Or you can just search the Ben Maynard program and choose your option. I, of course, want to steer everyone right towards Buzzsprout because that's where my website is. And if you can't resist this stuff right here, yeah, and you're watching on YouTube, then I ask that you please subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment. Last but not least, follow me on Instagram, simply Ben Maynard Program. So, as always, plenty of ways to take in this show for your dancing and listening pleasure. And with that, we'll recap the last episode real fast. That was Fab and Big Sexy. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. What great people. Great people. We had such a great time. And that was just so much fun. Good stories, good discussion with those folks. So if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. All right. And as you can see, becoming a regular contributor to this show, my buddy Spaz. And yeah, say hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah. Well, as we're recording this, it's pretty late. It's past our bedtime.
Yeah,
isn't
we
it?
both should have been asleep already.
It's past our bedtime.
Should have been asleep already. I should have went Mimi's a long time ago.
Long time ago. But we went out tonight, him and I, and we saw Eddie Trunk. Eddie Trunk from Trunk Nation on Sirius XM. He had a speaking engagement this evening close by, and so the two of us went down to go see Eddie, and it was so much fun. Yeah.
Great show.
It was a lot of fun. There was
a lot of fun.
There was an opening band, all girl band, young girls, probably, I'm sure in their early 20s.
Yeah. Young.
Called Turning Jane, and all original material, and they did a really good job.
Well, those 5 songs they played, heck, yeah.
Yeah,
they woke you up. They were loud. They were really good.
Yeah, they did a really good job. And so Eddie, after that, after they had come on and performed with 5 or 6 songs, then Eddie came out and did his speaking thing, storytelling, Q&A, all that kind of stuff. And then Phil X from currently from Bon Jovi, he had come out, and they did a little bit of back and forth between the two of them, and that was really good. Then the band Turning Jane came back on, and Phil joined them for 3 songs. These ones were all cover tunes because, Phil, it had to be songs that, of course, everybody knows, and that it wouldn't take much time for them to rehearse and get down. But it was a really good evening. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was
a lot of fun. Yeah. So we had talked about this previously that we would record this show after we got back. But before we get going with what we're going to talk about tonight, I just have to say congratulations to Spaz over here. Milestone moment in the softball history of Spaz. Last night, he put the ball in play. Remember, we talked the last time he was here, and he was telling us that he's having trouble seeing the ball, and he hadn't put anything in play yet. He hit the ball once, he hit it foul, and that was a big mark. And then last night, he hits the ball in play. Awesome. And what happened?
Double play. Oops. I didn't know how many outs there were. Nobody told me anything.
It was great.
Was
great. I see it this morning. I see his post on Facebook, and he's like, yeah, finally, I hit the ball in play. And then he goes on, yeah, and I hit into a double play.
Hey, it is what it is.
One step at a time, right?
Yep, one step.
Next one's going to be
a full base hit.
It'll be a bleeder through the infield or something, So, all right. So look, here's what we're going to talk about tonight. All right. And there it is at the bottom of the screen. And the reason why we're going to discuss this is I'm sure most of you know, and if you don't, you're going to know now, that the nominees for this year's class of
2024.
the 2024 class of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was announced. It was announced almost a week ago. And so this is our first time we've been able to get together and do this, but we want to discuss the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees and kind of go over them one at a time. And we're going to share our opinion on each one. And what we're going to do, we'll go over the entire list. There's a list of 15. And then we're going to discuss who we think or who we want to go in, and then who we think the voting body is going to elect for this year's class.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not going to waste a bunch of time here. We're going to get right into it. And so why don't we just, okay, look, here's the thing. Here's the thing. And chime in wherever you want, Spaz.
Of course.
Look, it's called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And probably within the last 10 years or so, it's really gotten away from rock and roll. So much so that there's just a ton of pop.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
A ton of pop being elected into the Hall of Fame. A ton of hip hop artists or even R&B artists. And okay, the problem that I have with it is it's called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And there's a country music Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I do believe that there is a hip hop Hall of Fame. I could correct me if I'm wrong. Leave it in the comments, but I do believe so.
I believe so too. Yeah.
There are no rock artists in the Country Hall of Fame. Actually, until Dolly Parton was inducted last year, there were no country artists in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But there are no rock artists in the Country Music Hall of Fame.
No,
there are no rock artists in the Hip Hop Hall of Fame, and there shouldn't be.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be. They don't belong.
I don't think so. I agree.
It's not segregation.
No.
What it is, it's different genres being recognized.
Yeah.
If the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was going to allow all these different genres, then maybe they should just change it to
change the name. Yeah.
Right.
Instead of being it's not rock and roll, then change the name.
Right. And that's the only problem that I have with it. I don't know. I guess it was maybe 15 years ago, I think. I'd have to check the math on it. Donna Summer was elected into the Hall of Fame. And you know what's funny is I didn't have a problem with that. I think I just had a problem when it started to become kind of an epidemic of just a bunch of pop artists and hip hop artists being nominated, let's put it that way. And then in turn, some of them selected.
They should call the top 40.
something.
Fame.
Yeah.
Because then everybody can be in it.
Right. Because it's just certainly changed over the last probably 15 years at least. And you can go back in rock history and the genre of rock and roll has changed a lot. I mean, when rock and roll, quote unquote, began, you're talking about, look, okay, the King, Elvis Presley, but you had Bill Haley and the Comets, you had Buddy Holly, you had Fats Domino, you had Little Richard,
Richie Valens.
Yes, right. Those artists. Yeah. And you can probably come off the mic a little bit. Yeah. Okay. And so it all had a very similar sound, but that was rock and roll.
That to me too.
Right. And then, it kind of evolved a little bit with the British invasion in the 60s. and it seemed to change a little bit. Included, a blues bass, especially with the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
And like I said, the Beatles changed a lot. It got a little bit harder and a little bit heavier, I guess you could say. But then at the late 60s, early 70s, now we had bands like the Yardbirds and Led Zeppelin. And yes, I'm going to include one of my favorites, Uriah Heep, Deep Purple.
The Who.
Right. The Who.
Man.
It got a little harder edged, but still rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, now we've got all kinds of different genres of rock. Punk and heavy metal. And then even within the heavy metal category, there's a bunch of different genres there. So, but it's all rock based.
Yeah.
Where some of these other genres, there's no rock in them at all. And that's where it becomes very confusing. And confusing to the hardcore rock fan, maybe. Mm-hmm. To the casual fan, music fan, they don't care. They don't know the difference. They don't care. So why does it bother us? I don't.
It was a matter of opinion. We're all entitled to opinion.
Right. So
everybody has one.
Anyway, so look, the nominees are out. There's 15 of them. I'll put my glasses on, and we're going to go down the list. Let's just go through them first, okay? Mary J. Blige.
She's not a rock and roll person.
Not a rock artist
at all.
She's a little bit of.
I would say R&B.
R&B, little hip hop.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey. She's not.
She is certainly not a rocker.
Right. No. She is R&B, adult contemporary.
Yeah.
That type of thing. Cher.
Cher is not.
She's
no. Yeah. Go ahead.
She's not rock. I would say in the 80s, early 80s, even into the later 80s, she was leaning rock, but, it was still more pop.
I say that's skeptical, and that's kind of the middle of the road between that and...
Right. Right. Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah. Top 40 to me.
Rock and roll. It's a jam band.
Okay.
Eric B. and Rakim.
Don't even know that.
And you know what? And I don't either. Never heard of them, but
Never heard of them.
I think they're more from the rap or hip hop genre.
Probably.
Then we've got Foreigner.
Of course, we know that is a rock and roll.
Rock and roll, yep.
Absolutely.
Peter Frampton.
Yep.
Rock and roll.
Yep.
Originated in Humble Pie.
Yeah.
Jane's Addiction. That's an alternative rock.
But
sure.
Still rock.
Right. Kool and the Gang. More R&B, funk. Even I don't know, I guess in the late 70s. No, I wouldn't even say disco, just R&B and funk, dance music. Love Kool and the Gang.
I mean, it's a great band, no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah. Lenny Kravitz.
He's definitely rock and roll.
Yeah. Well, and Lenny Kravitz kind of touches on a lot of different genres, but yes. But
at the end of the day, he's not an R&B.
But rock based.
He's not rock. I mean, he's rock based. He's not singing disco or anything like that. He is a rock and roll band.
Right. Then we have Oasis.
They're an alternative band.
Yeah.
But at least they're in the rock genre.
Liam and Noel Gallagher. Yes, definitely rock. Sinead O'Connor. No,
nothing compares to you is not a rock and roll song.
No, not at all.
But
then you have Ozzy Osbourne.
Definitely rock and roll
band. Right. Sade.
Another R&B group.
Mm-hmm.
Lady.
Nope. An R&B singer.
Yep.
Great voice.
Yeah. No doubt.
Has had a lengthy career, very successful career, but not in the rock space. And then A Tribe Called Quest.
Never heard of them.
And they're more on the rap or hip hop.
Oh, you've heard of them? I have heard.
I have heard of them.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. I've never heard of them.
I honestly don't know.
Well, I'm a rock and roll guy, so
yeah, I don't
know.
So
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I could. I can't name a song, and I don't know if you played one. If I could tell you it was them or not, I'm not sure.
Put your comments down and tell us if we're wrong.
Right.
Let us know.
Okay.
I don't think we are.
I don't know. I get frustrated by that at times, and I guess because, well, I don't know how many are first time nominees. I didn't check the notes on that.
No.
I think Mary J. Blige has been on the ballot before. The Eric B. and Rakim, I think this might be first time for them. I had never heard of them before.
Yeah, I've never heard of them, so I must be.
Jane's Addiction, I think that's a first time for them. Oasis, I believe, is first time also. Sinead O'Connor, I'm almost positive is first time. Same as Sade. And Tribe Called Quest, I want to say that's not first time for them.
No.
Wait. Okay, first time. Wait. Sinead O'Connor, Cher, Mariah Carey, Peter Frampton, Lenny Kravitz, Kool and the Gang, and Sade. Okay. Those are all first timers.
No.
Along with Foreigner. We know Foreigner's a first timer. Let's see. Yeah, Mary J. Blige was previously nominated. And so was Dave Matthews Band. Eric B. and Rakim. Oh, says that they're not first timers. And A Tribe Called Quest. Yeah, I figured A Tribe Called Quest had been nominated previously. So what we're going to do, we're just kind of break it down a little bit.
Yeah.
So we'll just start at the top of the list. Mary J. Blige, R&B.
Yep.
It's, I think, now that it's, I think it might be second time that she's been nominated. But here's the thing. There's so many other artists that are well overdue.
Yes, that's what I was going to tell you. I mean, there's a lot of bands out there that haven't made it. That should be on there.
We'll get into that in a minute too. We'll talk about our snubs as well. But so one, it doesn't fit the name of the Hall of Fame. So it doesn't fit the genre.
Well, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right. But the thing is, in the past few years, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has come out and said, oh, it's all inclusive. Everything is rock and roll and blah, blah, blah. I'm not quoting them. I'm just paraphrasing the things that they have said. And it's okay. All right. Well, I guess everything is rock and roll now. And we know it's not. But whatever. It's their gig. It's their museum. I guess they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mariah Carey, first timer. Of course, look, just like Mary J. Blige, incredibly successful career. Okay.
They're good. I mean, they're great.
Right.
No doubt about that. I mean, they deserve to be in a Hall of Fame, but not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They deserve to be in some form of a Hall of Fame within their group. Not so much rock and roll, because they're not a rock and roll band.
Right.
So, my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. But again, so many other artists that have either been snubbed or never even made. Well, I would consider being snubbed like never being on a ballot. And then other artists that have been on ballots, they've been nominated and then not elected or voted in.
Yeah, we gotta get enough votes from the people out there to vote.
Okay. Again, Cher.
No.
Kind of sort of touched on the rock space there
in between
40 years ago. Gone a lot more pop. Very huge career.
Yeah.
Huge career. See, I don't say I put her in the same class, but as far as their career, the length of their career, so I kind of look at Cher and Tina Turner the same.
Kind of.
Except Tina Turner, I do consider rock.
Yeah, she's had.
I consider Tina Turner rock.
Yeah.
She did have some R&B stuff in there, but she wanted to be a rocker.
Yeah.
That was her whole thing. And she, I consider her rock. I really do.
God rest her soul.
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of put them in the same space. Tina Turner, absolutely. Boom.
Sure.
No question. Cher, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And Dave Matthews Band, of course, they are a rock band.
Yeah.
But again, they're still new to the game here as far as their eligibility.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, they've been around for over 25 years because you've got to be the criteria is it's got to be 25 years beyond your first release.
Oh, okay.
That makes you eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of
Yeah.
Fame. So yes, Dave Matthews Band has been around long enough, but they've only been eligible for a very short time.
Yeah.
So really, they got to be here. Eric B and Rakim, I know they're not rock and roll. Okay, that's all I can tell you.
Hip. I don't know.
I've
I've never heard them, so I have no idea where to put them. But I know they're not a rock and roll band. That's what I do know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jane's Addiction, alternative rock. Again, I put them like not the same category, but like Dave Matthews, Jane's Addiction. Yeah. They haven't been eligible that long. There's so many other bands. I'm telling you that other bands that have been eligible for the last 15 years that have never had a sniff of a nomination.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like, I like the whole rule of seniority. I think seniority prevails. Now, Kool and the Gang, R&B, funk, but dang,
it's hard to put them in the rock and roll.
But I love
their music. Is great though. They have
band.
They have great music.
Love Kool, and I guess if you look at it this way too, by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's criteria, Kool and the Gang should have been a long time ago. And what their first timers on a ballot?
I don't know.
No, yeah, they are. They're first timers on a ballot. Are you kidding me? They've been around since the 60s.
The last time I saw them, they opened up for Van Halen.
Yes.
What does that say about the way they categorize that?
And they had the arena.
And they were awesome.
They had the arena jumping.
Oh, I was there.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had the arena jumping. Yeah. I love Kool and the Gang. And
Van Halen was not compared to Kool and the Gang. They stole the show that day.
I agree with that. So, like I said, by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's criteria, then I think that Kool and the Gang is deserving, but then by their criteria, I think Cher is deserving as well.
Yeah.
I just think as far as like Mary J. Blige and Mariah Carey, I think if you're going to go by their criteria, then I think they should wait. Then you got Lenny Kravitz, first timer on the ballot. Lenny's great. Lenny's been around since the late 80s. So let me see. I don't know the exact year of his first release, but let's just say, 88, 89. That takes us to 2000. Actually, I think this might be like first. No. That would be 35, 2000. So he's been eligible for a little while now. 88. So that would be 98, 08. And like since 2013, something like that. 2012, 2013, 2014, right in that area, since he's been eligible. So probably a good 10 years he's been eligible and first time on a ballot. That's kind of it's kind of criminal there a little bit. I do think that Lenny is very deserving of getting in. Oasis. Same thing, not quite the longevity of Lenny Kravitz.
Not that long at all. They were in the 90s grunge during the grunge year,
right? They were like mid 90s.
Yeah,
I believe it was right in that area.
Yeah, they haven't even put in 25 years, have they? Yes, they have.
Well, yeah.
If they were in the 90s, they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's a funny thing, and huge band.
Yeah,
huge in America, even larger worldwide.
Yeah.
And what would be so funny is that if Oasis were to get inducted, would the Gallagher brothers even show up to accept their induction? And if they did, would they even play?
Well, they're gonna have to play at least 2 or 3 songs.
They don't
with them.
look. Those guys hate each other. They're
Yeah.
brothers, and they hate each other. So
Who knows?
well, but you know, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame likes this kind of stuff. They like
Controversy, huh?
well, they like acts that there's a little bit of tension between whether it's current members or past members, or whatever. I remember
Like Journey. Remember? The same thing with
the
Steve
same
Perry.
thing with Journey. Did the same
Yeah.
thing with Kiss. Did the same thing with Guns N' Roses, Van Halen. Those kind of things where some members don't even show up. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see. But yeah, then but I mean I do think that they're deserving, but I think that they could wait. I think there's other bands that
are more deserving.
Right. Sinead O'Connor? No, I don't even think so.
No.
I don't. Wait, she had what, one hit?
One song. Nothing compares to
Tell
you.
me another.
And Prince is the one that wrote it.
Exactly. Tell me another song.
God rest his show.
Tell me another hit song, another big song that she had.
That's the only song I know.
Yeah. So I don't even know where that
great song though, no doubt, but that's the only song that I know.
Yeah. I don't even understand where that comes from.
Nothing compares to you.
So then we'll hit then Sade. Again, a lengthy career.
Smooth Operator is not a rock and roll song.
A great career. I don't know. She's been eligible for a little while though. So by their standards, then she is deserving. So I don't know. I'm up in the air on that one. Just because there's other acts that I want to see get not only their nomination, but get in
and get their due.
But you can't get in unless you get on a ballot, and there's so many bands that haven't even gotten.
So I don't understand. There's 15 bands here, and probably half of them don't belong there. You know, half the other half should. Right. There's other deserving bands that should be on that list.
And A Tribe Called Quest, they've been around a long time, lengthy career, been around for many, many years.
Don't even know
them. That's
never heard of them.
That's what I know of them. Okay, but lengthy career, they are like icons. So again, by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame standards, yeah, they should. They're worthy and they should go in. However, there's still other bands that predate them that I think are deserving. Okay, Ozzy Osbourne. Now,
Crazy Train.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, look,
he's a rock and roll band,
right? Now, Ozzy is already in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He was inducted with
for himself or with
Black Sabbath.
With Black Sabbath.
With Black Sabbath. And criminally, Ronnie James Dio wasn't included in that.
Yeah.
Ronnie James Dio made great music with Black Sabbath and was a great part of that band when Ozzy couldn't pull it together and was fired.
Yeah.
So Ozzy's already in with Black Sabbath, and I don't have a problem him being nominated as a solo artist because his career as a solo artist, honestly, was probably as big, if not bigger, than his career with Black Sabbath. I mean, his first two albums, the Blizzard of Oz album and Diary of a Madman, I think both those albums together sold like 16 million copies.
They're good albums.
So yes, but here's the rub. The only one being nominated by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they choose from a band who goes in. The only one that's being nominated is Ozzy himself. And the problem I have with that is Ozzy was not, without his band, Ozzy's nothing as a solo artist, because Bob Daisley wrote all the lyrics to those songs. I think the first 3 albums, or right up to The Ultimate Sin, he wrote all those lyrics. Ozzy didn't write lyrics. He didn't write songs. He got credit for them, and that's thanks to his manager and his wife, Sharon Osbourne. And Lee Kerslake also wrote. Now, he didn't write lyrics, but he did write music. So you had Lee and Bob writing those, and Randy Rhoads also.
Yeah.
You had those 3 guys writing those songs, and Ozzy getting all the credit for it. So if Ozzy's going to be nominated and selected or voted in, the rest of that band should go too. Those 3 guys, because those first 2 albums are monumental. Randy Rhoads is in, but he got backdoored in a couple of years ago for some lifetime achievement or something along those lines. I can't recall what it was. But the rest of that whole band should go in.
Wonder if they will. I don't know. I mean, he's not going to walk on stage and perform a song without a band.
There have been some exceptions made if an artist, like, okay, we'll take Bon Jovi for instance. When Bon Jovi was nominated for the Hall of Fame, Hugh McDonald, who's the bass player in the band now, was not included. But Alec John Such, I think is his name, the original bass player in the band. He really didn't play on the recordings. He played live, but Hugh McDonald was the one that recorded most, if not all, of that material. And now Hugh is a member of the band.
They should have both been there.
So John, and it was just the original lineup of the band that was nominated. So John went to the Hall of Fame and said, no, Hugh McDonald gets included in this. And he pushed and he pushed and he pushed, and the Hall of Fame caved. Good. And they said, okay, great.
Okay,
so he's in.
Good.
It's happened a couple of other times too. I think one with Pat Benatar, she would not go in unless Neil was with her. Rightfully so. Neil has been there from day one.
Yeah, back in
not only as her musical partner and band partner, but her husband.
Yeah.
And they wrote that stuff. Not all of it, of course, but they wrote all that stuff together. Yeah. So Neil deserves to be there just as much as Pat. So she pushed back on it, and it happened. So it can happen, but it's going to take. Look, Ozzy's not in a good way. Okay, so he's not going to be the one speaking up, but Sharon should be the one going to the Hall of Fame and saying, "Hey, these guys deserve it as well. If you're going to elect Ozzy, you elect these guys too." But I don't think she'll do that because look, she didn't allow the proper credit to be given. Back when Bob and Lee and Randy were writing all this music. So why is she going to give these guys credit now?
Yeah.
So it's just, that's kind of a mess on that one. Okay. Then Peter Frampton, long overdue, long overdue. Should have been on a ballot years ago. Put out one of the greatest live albums in the history of live albums, with Frampton Comes Alive. Iconic. And Peter Frampton's been a legend for years.
Yeah.
50 years, 50 plus. Like I said, he came out of humble pie. So I don't know. What are your feelings on Peter Frampton?
He should be in. He should be voted into the Hall.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's a rock and roll band. So he should be in the band.
Yeah. Yeah. And he is nominated as a solo artist, so no band or anything like that. And then last but not least, one of our absolute favorites,
Foreigner.
Long overdue.
Oh yeah, they should win top. He should be the top band of that group.
But I have heard
2024.
Yeah, I have heard on multiple occasions and multiple interviews, primarily Lou Gramm. As a matter of fact,
We just heard it today.
well,
We're listening to some of it, anyways.
yeah, but I heard Lou on Eddie Trunk's show 2 years ago talking about the reason why Foreigner had never even been on a ballot, and he had said that it was a vendetta against the band. That Jan Winter, who was a big part of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame until recent years, him and Mick Jones were actually really good friends. And they had some kind of a disagreement, falling out, or whatever it was. And a shouting match was in Jan's office. And on Mick's way out of the office, Jan said, "It'll be a cold day in hell before you ever get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame."
Wow.
And stayed true. But now the regime has changed at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in the last few years. And so now Foreigner shows up on a ballot. Doesn't mean they're going to get in, but at least they show up. So somebody had some sense.
Yeah.
The band has been long. I mean, it's long overdue. They've been snubbed for way too long. And
I'd pick them. They'd be my number one group.
Well, they've been a number one snub of mine for, gosh, I mean, I couldn't even tell you, for years. But at least the Hall of Fame got it right with the members that they are nominating.
Yeah.
They got the original lineup of the band.
Good.
Lou Gramm, Mick Jones, Dennis Elliott, Ed Gagliardi, Ian McDonald, and Al Greenwood. So, and then they included Rick Wills, which is so deserving because Rick came in on the Head Games album.
Yeah.
When Mick fired Ian McDonald and Al Greenwood, and then Ed Gagliardi quit. He left the band, and then they were in search of a bass player, and they found Rick Wills. So, and Rick was he was an instrumental part of that band. He was on the Head Games album, Foreigner 4 album, Major Provocateur, Inside Information, and the Unusual Heat album. He was on 6 albums.
Yeah, majority of their music.
Yeah.
How many albums they have? Like you said, 9.
Yes, 9 studio albums.
He was in 6.
And he was what I didn't even count. So Head Games 4, Agent Provocateur, Inside Information, Unusual Heat. So 5.
Yeah, I mean that's a majority.
That's over half.
Yeah,
and a great contributor to the band. So so they got it right. Okay, so now we kind of kick that around. So let's who do you want to see go in? If this was your ballot, you get to vote for 7.
Okay.
Or no, I'm sorry, you get to vote for 5. 7 are going in, but you only get to vote for 5. So who are you voting for?
Well,
on this list,
I'll tell you right now who I'm voting for. Foreigner's number 1. I would put in, if I can only read my list, because I can't read without my glasses, because I'm blind.
I offered
Peter Frampton is number 2.
Yeah.
Number 3 would be, see, that's kind of hard to say. I guess we'd have to put in Lenny Kravitz, Oasis, Ozzy Osbourne. That's 6, correct?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Or is that only 5?
No, that's 5. That's 5.
Oh, okay.
No, you only get to vote for 5.
Okay, now I'm good.
Yeah.
Your turn. That wasn't easy, but it's your turn.
I think out of this one here, out of these 15, I'm voting for Foreigner. That's just first and foremost.
Yeah.
I'm voting for Frampton.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Yep.
And I think I give it to Lenny Kravitz as well. I vote for Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah, two more.
And yeah, I've got two more. And I'm gonna go Ozzy, provided that they get it right.
Yeah.
And I'm going Cool in the Gang.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm going Cool in the Gang.
So we blew one. So I blew one against you because you.
Yeah.
I didn't
So
vote.
we agreed on 4 of the 5.
Yeah. Only because they're not a rock and roll band per se.
Right, but
That's the only
I'm
reason.
looking at their criteria, at the
Okay.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's criteria. So I'm looking at that, and I love Cool in the Gang
Yeah.
anyway. So
Good band.
yeah, I'm making an exception. Period.
Yeah.
For those guys.
Yep.
Are you kidding me? All right.
Celebration.
So that's who we think, or that's who we would vote for. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
If we had a ballot.
So now, here's the tough part. Who do you think is actually going to go in? And you get 7 choices on this one because 7 get to go in.
Well, you already got my 5.
Okay. Well, but is that who you think is actually going to get elected?
Those 5.
Okay.
And Cool in the Gang would be my 6th pick.
Okay. So you think you got that. So you got Foreigner, Frampton. You got Cool in the Gang. You got Lenny. You got Oasis, Ozzy, and you've got one more.
Yeah, I got Frampton though, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got Foreigner, Frampton, Cool in the Gang, Lenny Kravitz, Oasis, and Ozzy. So that's 6. You got one more that you think is going to go in.
Kind of hard to say. I guess I would go with Jane's Addiction because they're a rock and roll band.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I mean,
now this is who. Now, okay. So that's your 7 that you
Yep.
think are going in. I'm jotting a note down here.
Yep.
Now, this is who I think is going to go in. I think Foreigner's going to go. I think Frampton's going to go. And I think those two are going
1, 2 or opposite 1, 2.
Well, it doesn't matter what order. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
How many votes they get is what matters.
But I think that the roughly 1,000-member voting body is going to pull their heads out, and they're going to get it straight this time. And I think Foreigner will get in, and I think Frampton will get in for sure. And those guys, first off, they better get in because we don't know how much time Mick Jones still has.
Yeah.
First off, you've got 2 original members of Foreigner that have passed away. Okay. And Mick Jones is 80 years old, and he's had a lot of health problems. So, I mean, he hasn't performed with Foreigner. He hasn't gone out on tour with the band to play an encore set, let alone a full show, in years. Probably been almost 10 years.
Wow.
Since he's actually gone out and been on stage with the band. So we don't know what his health is like. So yeah, I mean, I don't even know if he's going to show up if they get elected. I mean, you would think. I mean, I don't care if they got to push him out in a wheelchair, but it would be nice to see the band perform. And I know there's tension between Lou and Mick, but they got
to put it aside for just one
night. You know, a lot of bands can put their differences aside for one performance.
That's Hall of Famers. Yeah, really look at that.
Yeah. Some bands can't. Look, Journey didn't. I mean, Steve didn't sing. He didn't sing with the band. Kiss didn't perform at all. You know, who else hasn't performed? Geez, there's been those kind of things. So, yeah, I think they'll get in, and I hope so, because you've got these guys that are getting older. Peter Frampton, he's dealing with a lot of health issues. You know, and now I think that the nominating body, which is about a dozen people, versus the voting body, they got it right, but this is kind of like, oh, well, we invited Peter Frampton to come out and back up Sheryl Crow when she performed last year after getting elected. Now, wait a minute. Sheryl Crow getting in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before Peter Frampton. And then, to me, the adding insult to injury is having Peter Frampton play guitar for her, with her. Are you kidding? So I think they're trying to come correct on that.
Yeah, that would make perfectly good.
Anyway.
It would be logical if they did.
So I think, okay, I think you got Foreigner. I think you got Frampton. I think Kool and the Gang's going to get in. I think Ozzy's going to get in. So that's 4. I think Mariah Carey's getting in. I do. I think she's getting in. And I think Cher is getting in.
Oh my gosh.
I do. I think so.
Okay.
Now I got to go and find my 7th one. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. And I think
go for Mary Blige. Go.
No, I don't. I don't think Mary J. Blige.
No.
I don't know if she's going to get in this time. I definitely think Mariah Carey is going to get in, and I think Cher is going to get in. Okay, let me find that 7th one.
Based on that popularity contest.
Yeah. You know, I think I'd like to see Lenny, but
I lost my respect for Mariah Carey.
I think you lost your respect.
No, I went to go. We went to go see her at Dodger Stadium, and she performed one song and left.
Well, she's a punk.
Okay.
So
no, she's afraid of. Right. She has stage fright. You believe that stage fright? I paid $50 to see her play. Never again, Mariah Carey.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my 7: Mariah Carey, Cher, Foreigner, Frampton, Kool and the Gang, Lenny, and Ozzy. Those are the ones I think that the voting body is going to.
Those are good. Those are good choices, despite the fact that they're not. Half those bands are not rock.
Yeah, bands. It's not the So, but I would say so. What out of my 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think Foreigner, Frampton, Kool and the Gang, Lenny. I think all of my 5 got in. Yeah, because you picked Oasis and I didn't.
Yeah.
So I think all my 5 that I would elect are going to get in. Okay, so now we've talked about the nominees. We've talked about who we would vote for.
Yep.
And we've talked about who we think the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is going to vote for. Let's talk about some of the biggest snubs. I'll let you go first. Give me one of your biggest snubs.
That's just it. I don't really particularly have a snub because I don't know who's in and who's out. I mean, there's a lot of bands out there that I know could be in, but I don't know if they're in the Hall of Fame or not. Like the Eagles, for instance.
The Eagles are in.
You know, like Chicago's in?
Chicago's in.
Okay, see, I didn't know that.
Okay. How about, well, let me start with this one, MC5. Been on the ballot like 6 times, never got in. Now, Wayne Kramer, lead singer for the band, he just died like 2 weeks ago.
That sucks.
And then they didn't even nominate him this year. So now they're not even on a ballot.
What a drag.
Okay. So based on that, I would say MC5 is a huge snub. How about this one? Styx.
You sure? They're not in?
Never even been on a ballot.
That's another snub.
Never even been on a ballot.
Really?
All those hits.
Really
all
great.
Those millions of records sold.
Paradise Theater alone had 10 songs and they're really good.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Renegade. I mean, there were a lot of great songs on
How about this one? Boston.
Really?
Boston.
They're not in?
Never even been on a ballot.
Great.
Never even been on a ballot.
Man.
You've got the first 2 Boston records sold like almost 20 million copies. Okay. I think the debut album is Diamond, which is 10 million copies. You know, one of the greatest debut albums of all time. Every single song on that album got radio play.
Yeah.
You know, they're all hit songs.
They kind of sounded the same, most of their songs, but it were good.
And it's a groundbreaking record, too. It's a groundbreaking record. Okay. How about this one? There it is. Bad Company.
Really?
Not even on a ballot. Never even been on a ballot.
Paul
Not only that,
Rogers.
Paul
Rogers.
Rogers. Okay. Paul Rogers / Bad Company / Free. None of it. Never been on a ballot. That's criminal.
See? War bands alone should have been in this year.
Okay.
And what did we have? We had Cool the Gang.
But
I mean, see some of those snubs.
This is what I'm talking about. Okay. So just those 4 right there. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to throw this one in as well. How about REO Speedwagon?
Wow. That one's not
Never even been on a ballot.
Yep.
Okay. So REO, Bad Company, Boston Sticks, MC5. Okay. But you've got Mary J. Blige, you got Mariah Carey, you got Cher, Eric and Rakim, Sinead O'Connor, Sade, Tribe Called Quest. 1, 2, 3, 4,
7.
5, 6, yeah, 7. You got 7 acts on there.
That aren't really rock and roll bands.
Right.
And you got 5.
Right.
5
and then you've got 5 legit rock and roll bands that originated in the 70s.
And hadn't gotten any kind of
originated in the 70s and have been long overdue and never showed up on a ballot.
What a shame.
Never, ever even showed up on a ballot. Just those 5 right there. Let me think real quick. I'm thinking. Foreigner that was one of the biggest snubs ever. So, okay, so that one's gone now. Now, how about bands that you think should go in, but maybe will never make it? They'll never make a ballot.
I don't know anything off the top of my head right now.
I probably because it's really late.
Yeah, it's only 11 o'clock. It's
both,
actually 1 o'clock in the morning somewhere else.
And we're both really tired.
We had a long day. I've been at 2:30 this morning. So, anyways.
Well, here's one. Loverboy. Now,
well,
I absolutely love that band.
In 1980s.
Absolutely love that band.
Yeah.
Huge songs, huge albums in the 80s.
And they're still performing.
They're still out.
Yeah.
Touring year after year. They're still out. They haven't made any. They haven't put out any albums in a while, but they have put out some singles.
Yeah.
Okay, so they still make music.
Yeah.
How about as a solo artist, Sammy Hagar?
Yeah.
Yeah. Solo artist alone.
Look at that. 7 bands.
Solo artist alone. Sammy has never been considered. I don't think that either. I don't think Loverboy will ever get in. Now, Sammy's in with Van Halen.
Yeah.
But as a solo artist, I think Sammy is deserving as well. But I don't think those 2 bands will ever show up on a ballot.
Well, I hope we're getting next year. You never know. You put 15 acts.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's those bound to be somewhere next year.
But now, when you go back to the original 5 that I on the snubs. Okay, let's look at Bad Company. Now, Paul Rogers just released a solo album late last year, but he's not going to tour it because he's got a lot of health problems. He's had 2 heart attacks or something in recent times.
Wow.
So he's not going to go out and tour. He's got health issues. Now, Bad Company, Paul Rogers, so deserving of the Hall of Fame. How long are they going to wait? Are they going to wait till he dies?
I think so.
Before they nominate him, before they even put that band on a ballot? That's what they did with Yes.
Yeah.
For years, Yes got snubbed, and then Chris Squire died, and they nominated the band.
Damn.
And then they got in.
Yeah.
But, it's like band members have to die before they get nominated. It's
pretty unfair.
It's just ridiculous. Well, it's ridiculous is what it really is. It just doesn't make sense to us as rock and roll fans, And look, not all of these bands do we go deep into their catalogs. Some of them we're more casual fans of, but we recognize their greatness,
Yeah.
and we recognize their longevity and what they have done in their careers and what that has meant to the, to the rock and roll genre. So it's just, it's a little silly. I don't know. I'm trying to think really quick. Any other bands that I can just off the top of my head think of. Look, everybody out there.
Tell us.
Yeah.
You tell us what you think.
Tell us who you want to see on a ballot. Tell us who your rock.
How about Deep Purple?
Yeah. No, Deep Purple's in.
Oh, they're in. Okay,
yeah,
good.
Deep Purple's in.
Oh,
tell us who your Hall of Fame snubs are.
Yeah.
Leave them in the comments. Okay. And, help us out. So, all right. We're going to call that one. We got our discussion out of the way, right?
Certainly did.
It was, look, this was just on our, this was on our minds, and it was weighing on us. And we said, hey, let's just go get this done. Let's push record, and let's talk about this. Let's complain. Let's get a little upset. Let's figure some stuff out. So so leave your comments, leave your rock and roll snubs. And
we're not saying we don't like any of the 15 bands. We're just saying that they should when it says Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it should be a rock and roll band.
Yeah,
to be in a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Make a Hall of Fame for R&B. Make a Hall of Fame for country, and they already have that,
right? Yeah,
if they have that for country, why can't they have that for R&B?
Yeah.
And some of these bands that got snubbed should be sitting in here right now, regardless.
Well, like I said, all those bands, all those snubs right there have never had a sniff of a ballot ever. So it's just criminal.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, so again, this program is available on multiple podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify, or just search the Ben Maynard program and choose your option. Got several options, plenty of options to choose from. Let's put it that way. But if you just can't resist the beauty that's on the screen and you got to watch us on YouTube, then please subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up and leave a comment. Like I said, leave those rock and roll snubs, Hall of Fame snubs, I should say.
Tell us we're crazy. We don't mind.
Yeah.
We think we are crazy.
Yeah.
So don't mind it. You put down whatever comment you desire.
That's it. And last but not least, follow me on Instagram, Ben Maynard Program. That's going to be a wrap, people. All right? That is a wrap. And with that, thanks for hanging. This is the Ben Maynard Program.
Peace.
We'll see you.
See ya.